A very warm welcome to this AFST PowerTalk. My name is Subhaprada Nishtala and I will be discussing some of the common myths that are associated with frozen foods. Did you know that by some estimates, the world today produces double the quantity of food that is required to feed the current population. However, a large part of this food is wasted. In India alone, close to 58,000 crores or 40% of our agricultural produce is lost. A good portion of this could be saved if we harnessed simple technologies such as freezing. Frozen foods have not, however, gained a lot of consumer acceptance due to some common myths that are associated with it. And I shall be spending time trying to clarify the science behind some of these myths. Myth number 1, fresh is not equal to frozen. The common understanding is that frozen foods have a lower nutritive value compared to fresh foods. Actually, the reverse is true. When produce is frozen using the right technique, up to 90% of its nutritive value could be saved, could be retained in that food. When you look at fresh food, it is often harvested prior to ripening and then travels huge distances before it reaches your table or your marketplace. Compare this to a frozen food which is harvested at ripening, blanched to ensure that enzymatic activity comes to a standstill, and then frozen, quick frozen to -18 to ensure that microbial and other chemical changes are stopped. Freezing also ensures that natural color is better preserved, natural flavor is better preserved, and amongst the many food processing techniques available, it also ensures that texture is by far the best preserved in this method. Which brings us to our next myth, that all frozen food is highly processed. Freezing as a technique is almost like hitting a natural pause button. By taking the temperature of the food to -18, we are not only ensuring that the microbial activity stops, which it does at -12 degrees, but also ensuring that chemical and oxidative changes are brought to an almost standstill, or at least paused to ensure that the effect of that oxidative change is absolutely minimal. Coming to the third myth, that frozen foods need to be thawed. Most of the food safety concerns that are associated with foods, and especially frozen foods, are due to improper thawing. There are two effects that improper thawing has on foods. A, the slow rate of thawing, the moment you touch -12 degrees Celsius, it allows for microbial activity to start. It also causes a certain, when the microbial activity starts at these low non-optimum temperatures, it allows for spore formation, it allows for toxin production, both of which could often be more heat resistant than the vegetative cell itself and may not be deactivated during common cooking methods. The second effect of improper thawing is the effect it has on the texture of the food. When food is frozen and thawed, the water that has converted to ice melts but is not reabsorbed in its original location. This causes something called drip loss, which leads to loss in flavor, loss in color, and also loss in texture. Except for raw meats and some salads, all frozen foods should be cooked directly from frozen. Myth number 4, thawed food can be refrozen. As was discussed in some of the earlier power talks, each processing method has certain cons, and one of the cons of freezing of food is that it causes a certain textural damage to the cell of the food item. Solid ice has a higher volume than liquid water, and when you are freezing it at source, we are doing a quick freezing at the manufacturing end, so small ice crystals are formed. But when you thaw it and try to refreeze it in your refrigerator, you are doing a slow freeze which causes greater size of ice crystals to be formed, thus damaging the cells and damaging the texture of the product. In conclusion, freezing in itself does not damage or harm the food product. It all depends upon how you handle the product, the source of the food, do read the label of the frozen food, and the manner in which you manage it in your kitchens. Thank you.